This is an inspiring segment here. Pro-Palestinian student protesters celebrated for moral clarity at the People's graduation. So this made Time magazine. College students risking school discipline for their pro-Palestinian activism were celebrated by peers and supporters for their moral clarity at a church across the street from Columbia University on Thursday. Faculty and staff from Columbia and Barnard College helped organize the People's graduation at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. Hundreds of students, mostly from the two schools, attended. So did some others from New York University, the City University of New York, and Parsons School of Design. Now, the cathedral they're talking about there, St. John the Divine, biggest church in the city, absolutely massive, beautiful building that if you go to the city, you should definitely put on your list of things to see. St. Patrick's is the most famous one, and St. Patrick's is obviously gorgeous. But the size and scale of this church is just incredible. So they got a huge venue right near the campus, and they had a graduation ceremony for the pro-Palestinian protesters. Hours before the People's graduation began, the Arts and Sciences faculty at Columbia University passed a vote of no confidence, in University President Manoush Shafiq. The resolution criticized her for an unprecedented assault on students' rights after she invited police on campus twice to arrest protesting students. More than 60% of the 709 professors voted to express no confidence in Shafiq. 29 voted against it, and 6 abstained. So a landslide vote amongst the actual faculty for no confidence in their president. Columbia University had canceled its larger official commencement gathering earlier this month, citing security concerns, and was not involved in organizing the People's graduation. They still held smaller celebrations grouped by the type of school. Nearly 17,000 graduates celebrated in these ceremonies over the past week, according to the university. Barnard held a commencement ceremony Wednesday. Some students, including Student Government Association President Mariam Sissoko, who gave a speech, spoke out in favor of advocating for Gaza at the event. Shayoni Mitara, a senior lecturer at Barnard College's theater department who helped organize Thursday's ceremony, says staff wanted the event to provide students a space of refuge. She said that there are currently about 200 active disciplinary hearings for students at Columbia and Barnard based upon self-reported crowdsourced numbers. Thursday's event, meaning the People's graduation, was often celebratory and jubilant as speakers praised students for their commitment to justice and for sparking a global movement of pro-Palestinian encampments. This kind of solidarity immortalizes Palestine forever, said Palestinian-American Rahman Badran, who was chosen as the official student speaker at the event in a speech. It was a stark contrast to how Shafiq has described protests. Yes, after students' occupation of Hamilton Hall, she wrote in a May 1st statement, this drastic escalation of many months of protest activity pushed the university to the brink, creating a disruptive environment for everyone and raising safety risks to an intolerable level. Once again, not one of the NYPD, who we saw in a previous segment, going out cracking people's heads for no reason. Not one cop cited a single violent incident at this encampment or the occupation. Yep. But many student protesters said police conduct is what made them feel unsafe. The NYPD did not immediately respond to a request for comment about allegations of violent conduct. The ceremony closed with a performance from a group of student protesters who started playing together after meeting at the encampment. This is a song that many of you know intimately from many protests, said one of the singers before starting. It was the same song that student protesters sang when they first occupied Hamilton Hall and when police arrested them. So here they are performing this song. You'll get an idea of the kind of kids these are, the kind of song they sing. They do it really, really well in the venue, and this really encapsulates the vibe of the whole event. So this song is called Where You Go, and we're going to hear a piece of it now.
This while we were being arrested, the first one, when we were sitting across the way, and the process of literally just sitting there and
Your people are my people. Our struggles align. What violent, hateful people. What a, look at the difference between the way these guys were covered in the press and what they actually represent. Just a beautiful ceremony, packed house. Great song, great tune. I actually looked up that song. It's a great song. And really, really just extremely well done. So congratulations to them from us and also from this journalist in Gaza. Here she is expressing her gratitude for the students at Columbia.
Hello to all the students in Columbia University. This is Hind Khudari from Gaza, currently in Al-Aqsa Hospital, and I have been reporting everything since the first day. I have been on the field and I saw you guys protesting, risking your education, and risking everything eventually. I totally appreciate every single person of you. I'm so proud of you, and you gave us hope that was never going to, like, we never imagined that anyone is gonna ever give us hope the way you guys did. Keep protesting. We are still being bombed, we're still being killed. Keep raising the voice of the voiceless Palestinians, and hopefully I'll see you one day soon when all of this ends.
Wow.
Beautiful stuff. Beautiful job. Congratulations to all the graduates of the People's graduation. So great that they were able to make that happen. And it's so important, I feel, to do a segment like this, to share a segment like this when we drop the video. Please share all the clips and all the photos from this, because Occupy Wall Street had the same PR problem. They were smeared as these violent malcontents in the press, and when you went to the encampment, they were not violent. It was fine. You had tourists walking their children around those encampments, not American tourists. The American tourists were walking their kids around the fucking M&M store, right? But like European tourists took their kids to Occupy Wall Street. It was fine. It was totally safe. And so the default opinion about these protests in America is, well, what's going on the campuses? It's scary. It's weird. These weirdo kids with their tent. That's what it is. That's the vibe there. I mean, look at these amazing people here. This is it. Like that's just a perfect song choice. The song is called Where You Go, by the way, and you can look it up. It's on all of the streaming services. It's on YouTube. You can find it. And apparently their cover, I thought their cover was great, but it wasn't good enough to flag the YouTube copyright flagger, so we were able to play it for you. So good, I guess, on that. Just what a bunch of great kids.
Oh, they're covering a published song. It's not an original song.
It's a published song. Came out in 2018. I'll find the artist, because there are a few different songs called Where You Go, but I'll find it on the break, and I'll post the information on the Rumble thing. And I'll post it when we put this video out as its own clip.
More broadly, in terms of the cultural narrative, we were getting into this a little bit with Chairman Yeshitela. If you look at the way political dissidence is represented in our culture, in our storytelling, at best, it's misguided and naive. And at worst, it's dark and violent and not what it's made out to be. Bane is a very good example in Dark Knight Rises, right? Bane talks a lot of populism, a lot of economic redistribution, and he's a sadistic madman who's going to kill everybody. And he needs a fascist billionaire to come beat the shit out of him to save Gotham. Our entire culture is rife with those stories. And with Yeshitela, I was talking about in regards to all of these films about the 60s, which they began to do even then with movies like Alice's Restaurant, showing this failed communal experiment at the end, where the buffalo roam. They grafted that on, even though it doesn't have any analog in Thompson's actual writing. One gets the impression he quite enjoyed that period and was not disillusioned by the thing. He was disillusioned by what society turned into. He was not disillusioned by those movements themselves. That became a standard narrative across the universe. Has that narrative. Forrest Gump has that narrative. It's a cliche of movies about that period that it turns out they're building bombs and the naive protagonist didn't realize how violent it was. And really, yeah, sure, there are things like that. But most people who get involved in peace movements, imagine they're peaceful. Most people who are anti-war are anti-violence. They're not going to be all that inclined to be violent. But that narrative not only takes place in the moment, in the way it's covered journalistically, more broadly, they create a narrative around moments like that to discourage people from joining countercultural movements and to make them cynical about what they really are and what their intentions are.
Yes. Yes. That's very well said. And I just want to put this up on the screen here because I did find it. The name of the song is called Where You Go by Shoshana Jedwab. I hope I'm saying that last name right, but that's the recording. There are a lot of different songs called Where You Go, but if you want to find that one, go look that up. Great song. Really inspiring moment there. So congratulations to the people's graduation.
Please clap.